Besting the test, preparing for success and managing test anxiety. Objectives of this presentation are to identify skills necessary to learn material, effectively prepare for an exam, identify and address test anxiety prior to and during the exam, learn 3 anxiety-reducing exercises to employ during tests. Today we are going to focus a lot of our time on before the exam because everything you do leading up to the exam can impact your exam experience. As they say, preparation is key. Do the work. It is the best way to prepare yourself for the test ahead. This includes taking and saving notes in a way that they can easily be reviewed and circled back to so that you can review materials that you maybe didn't understand fully the first time. You can do this by paying particular attention to questions you got wrong on homework, quizzes, or exams, and review the material you missed. A sign of concept mastery is learning it enough to be able to teach someone else. Get to know your exam. Sometimes not knowing the exam itself can cause unnecessary stress. In your class, you can often learn about this through your syllabus or asking the instructor. You should figure out the following information. What format is it in? How will it be administered? Is it online, take-home, in-class, paper, or computer-based? Is it cumulative or comprehensive, or no? What topics or concepts are covered on the exam? How much time do you have? All of these questions help you to determine how much time you need to study, and more importantly, how to study. Study time. Determine how much time you need and when you need to start. You will need to set aside a much larger chunk of time for a comprehensive style exam that is intended to test your entire knowledge on a subject than a chapter exam. For a general course exam, allow yourself 1 to 2 weeks of lead time to study for the exam. This gives you ample time to study for the exam and helps you to decrease stress associated with the exam by leaving time for class, breaks, fun, sleep, and other things that you need to attend to. You have other areas of your life that need to be sustained even while studying for your exam. Additionally, prioritize concepts that you find more difficult to understand, as those will be harder for you to master. Study creatively. Employing a variety of study methods allows you as the learner to stay fresh in studying and comprehend the material in a variety of ways. It helps to increase focus by decreasing the monotony of sticking to one method of studying. A few suggestions for studying can include practice exams, end of chapter reviews, review notes, record your notes and listen back, flashcards, concept maps, case studies, and group study. Please note that this is not an exhaustive list of study methods. Study smart. The duration of time studying does not equal quality time studying. Create or find an environment where you can thrive while studying. You can do this by limiting distractions. Your phone and your computer may be distraction number 1. For others, it may be family obligations. For electronic distractions, you can turn off your phone or turn it to do not disturb. Study in a non-distractive area, and block websites or applications that are distracting if you need to use technology. I personally really enjoy BlockSite. It allows me to block different websites while I am studying, as well as set study timers. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about setting a timer for work time. This can provide external motivation to be productive. It can also tell yourself that, okay, during this 25-minute chunk of time, I am just going to work on this thing. And it allows us to stay more focused on that. Next, set a timer for breaks. Breaks give you time to rest and process information, as well as to come back to studying refreshed. Take a walk, stretch a little, and go back refreshed. Try the Pomodoro method, which links work time and breaks together. Below, you can find a link for more information on this method. And then next, study when you are most productive, whenever possible. If you are not a morning person, don't think that waking up at 6:15 a.m. is going to be really productive or helpful for you studying. And then know the grade that you need and set realistic expectations. You can do this by calculating a grade that you need for your final, or can figure out what you need to maintain the score that you currently have. Next, take care of yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So filling your cup means that you have something to give to your studies, reviews, and eventually your exam. You need to eat well because your brain runs on food. It gives you energy to work and be productive. Have fun. It helps to avoid burnout, and that means that you have more energy and motivation to study and prepare yourself to be successful on your exam. Sleep. Tired brains take longer to process information and struggle to retain it. Believe in yourself. If you believe you can't, it's likely that you won't because you have reinforced that the challenge ahead of you is impossible. Next, stay away from negative Nellies. Negative folks can actually increase anxiety and self-doubt, which is not helpful when you have an exam on your horizon. So, getting into test anxiety. Test anxiety is often used to refer to the stress, worry, and anxiety that is related to test taking. Some anxiety can be helpful and healthy, but unchecked anxiety at a high level can hurt test performance. Test anxiety can manifest before and during the exam. So before the exam, it can look like procrastination, negative self-talk, worrying about passing the exam, and those can all be intrusive thoughts that can make your study time unproductive. Now, during the exam, it can look like negative self-talk, distractions while you're taking the exam, and stress that leads to blanking on material that you have studied. Again, how we prepare can help us to reduce the test anxiety during the exam. Reducing test anxiety. We can use the following methods prior to and or during an exam. Method 1, to recognize the negative or unproductive thoughts. An example of an unproductive or negative thought is, quote, I can't remember the answers. I'm going to fail this exam. By recognizing these thoughts, we can acknowledge them as unhelpful. Next, take that negative thought that you just recognized and reframe it. Reframe the thought with positivity and productive thoughts. An example of that reframed is, quote, I prepared for this test and will do the best I can. I feel good about myself and my abilities. I'm going to use all of my test time and check for careless errors. Next, you can use relaxation techniques. And these can be small but impactful exercises to relax and decrease anxiety before and during your exam. Some options can include, and we will try them out in a very little bit, I promise, include breathing exercises, small stretches, and or a personal pep talk. Activity time. Recognize. So this activity encourages students to reflect on their anxiety prior to exams. So if you do not already have something to write down, grab your phone or your computer or a pen and a piece of paper and write down what makes you nervous about exams. Now feel free to press pause to take time to reflect. Then press play when you're ready to move on. Now that you have written down what makes you nervous, crumple it up and throw it away. So why did we just do this? Writing down what makes you nervous prior to your exam can actually improve your score and reduce stress by acknowledging the stress. This actually helps us to free up our headspace more to focus on the task at hand. You can do this before you go and take your test. Our next activity, reframing. So think about a negative thought that you've had before, specifically as it relates to an exam. However, this can also be applied to other areas of your life. Do you have a negative thought in mind? Okay. Now take the time to reframe it. This can include evidence of prior success, trust in the work that you've done to prepare, and or general kindness and empowerment towards yourself. Go ahead and take a little time to reframe that. Our next activity is going to be one example of a relaxation activity. So we're going to focus on our breathing, specifically making our exhale longer than our inhale. So I want you to take the next 10 to 15 seconds to just notice how you're breathing. Normally, don't change your breath, don't do anything different about it. Okay, now we're going to focus on our breathing, specifically making our exhale longer than our inhale. Now I want you to breathe in for 3, 2, 1. Now slowly exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 3, 2, 1, and exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, inhale 3, 2, 1, and exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your exhale is linked to the parasympathetic nervous system, which impacts your body's ability to relax. You can do a quick body check-in and unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders away from your ears, sit up, unfurrow your brow, put your feet on the ground. I want you to think to yourself, did you have to change anything about how you were sitting or enjoying this video? If so, you've probably moved to a more relaxed position if you are getting ready to take an exam. And so those are just a couple of different examples of things that you can do during the test itself or prior to the exam that are relatively quick, but also have a general high impact to the amount of stress and anxiety that you are feeling. Additional resources. All the resources are hyperlinked below the video. You can find information on the Pomodoro technique, which is the work and break timer that helps folks to maintain focus as well as to take breaks to maintain their freshness in their studies. BlockSite, which is a Chrome extension, which provides a great productivity timer and website blocker to limit distractions while you're working and or studying. Some additional breathing exercises and some test anxiety reduction exercises. Thank you for taking the time to learn about preparing yourself for exams and dealing with test anxiety. I hope you learned some tactics that you will find helpful as you prepare for your next exam. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to email us at ozark.studentsuccess@atu.edu. Thank you and have a wonderful day.